was on the bottom, now we running this. Grind hard when the load gets heavy. The money was slow, but now it's steady. You boys is not ready.
And welcome to the final day of the British Swimming Championships 2016. We're coming live all morning and for the final evening tonight from Tollcross International Swimming Centre, where this week we have seen some fantastic swimming performances, some fantastic personal bests, a few British records mixed in there as well, and a few of those all-important times. Now, I'm delighted to say that this morning I'm joined in the studio by the legend that is Amy Wilmot. Thanks for joining us today.
Okay, good morning.
You've had a bit of a busy week. Now, rather than me going through every single race that you've competed in today, it'll probably take me about 10 minutes. Talk me through what the experience has been like for you this week.
This week's been great as a whole. The atmosphere has been amazing and everyone at Glasgow has been brilliant, and I've been kind of swimming on and off throughout the week. So I started with the 400 IM, which I finished second and achieved the Olympic consideration time.
And what did that feel like, touching the wall, knowing that you'd taken
It was
that time?
amazing to kind of hit the wall and turn around and see that I'd done the time, and it is such a great weight off your shoulder kind of leading into the rest of the week. And then I had the women's 200 butterfly, which I managed to finish first in, so I was really happy with that. And literally
I love how you said it, I just managed to...
Yeah, the race was really close, and there was 0.04 between me and second, so I just managed to sort of get my fingers on the wall first, and that was a great race. And then last night I finished with the 200 IM, so overall I've had quite a good week.
And are you feeling tired? Have you had much sleep last night?
Last night I didn't manage to get too much sleep. I think kind of after a busy week, the come down of everything just kind of hits you, and you're just normally wide awake.
Yeah, and what's it been like sort of behind the scenes? We're seeing swimmers come out onto poolside, performing, going off, but what's it like in the call room? What's it like back at the hotel between teammates?
Everyone's been really tense, I think, and even me for definite. You kind of feel the pressure of a major game.
It already looks intense this morning, doesn't it?
All those girls will be kind of getting ready for the 100 breast, which is obviously the first event, and those girls will try to be swim as quick as they can this morning to make it through to tonight. And if you're not one of those top 8 in the final, then you haven't got a chance of making it to Rio. So I think the 100 breast this morning will be quite quick.
Now, firsthand, you know what it's like. London 2012 was a massive experience. What have you learnt since London 2012, moving forward to Rio 2016?
I think in London it was so overwhelming, obviously being a home games and just the whole atmosphere of my first Olympics and just everything in general was amazing about London. And for me to train there every day, I kind of get those memories that I had when I finished the wall and sort of saw the times and qualified, and just it's great to kind of be in a place where all those memories come back, and I just get to kind of relive it every day.
Yeah, walking into that pool every day must be amazing, because you made that transition, moved down to London. That's taking a big leap of faith, moving away from family and friends.
Yeah, I'm really close up with my parents and my sister, so it was quite a big leap to move away from Middlesbrough and move down to London. But that was where my dad was originally from, and he vacated up north for his training, so it's kind of the opposite way around for me.
Yeah.
But I'm really enjoying it now in London, and I'm settled and everything's going really well.
Well, it clearly shows. Congratulations for some fantastic performances, keeping us very entertained this week as Amy Wilmot. Now, this morning we're going to start, as you say, the women's 100-metre breaststroke. What are your expectations for that race?
This morning you'll have sort of Molly Renshaw, Chloe Tutton and Siobhan Marie O'Connor, so those 3 girls in that will be sort of battling it out to make the centre lane, so that'll be quite quick.
Yeah, that's essential, isn't it, for those centre lanes tonight. Then we move on to the men's 200-metre backstroke.
The qualifying time for this event is really quick, so I think it'll be kind of a battle to who can get their hands on the wall first.
And then we move on to the women's 100-metre butterfly, again another tough one.
Yeah, Rachel Kelly is up in that this morning, so you expect to see her to be quite quick.
Yeah, and then we finish off this morning's heats with the men's 200-metre freestyle.
Yeah, personally I'm looking forward to that race. You've obviously Jimmy Guy and some of the other guys that have been in the 1500s, so that'll be a really, really tough race to get into tonight's final.
So, of course, we have all the heats live as they're happening this morning, and the times as soon as they happen. Don't forget, though, this evening it's going to be our final session, so make sure you don't miss that one tonight. But for now, hopefully later on, actually, Jazz Carlin's going to be joining me in the studio, but for now I'm going to hand you over to our commentators, Bob Ballard and Ross Davenport.
Thank you, Hannah. Good morning. Well, where's that 5 days gone? Just simply flown by. And here we are, the final day and the penultimate session of the British Swimming Championships of 2016. Heats much eagerly anticipated as well. A couple of events this morning where we think there could be some rather special things created. And certainly when the finals roll around tonight, that will be built upon in the session that starts at 6:30. So, you've seen the events. The only voice you've not heard from so far is my co-conspirator in crime. Time for good behaviour, if he's very good this morning. Morning, Ross Davenport.
Good morning, Bob. As you just mentioned, the time has flown by this week. We've seen some excellent swimming, and the British swimming looks like it is in a good place moving forward over the next couple of months going into the Rio 2016 Olympic Games. Also looking good is the youth, and that we've mentioned about the target Tokyo times and final many times before on this programme, and it's a real good experience for these swimmers to be able to get into the junior and the target Tokyo final. And you're seeing now the core room, and that's the experience that you gain. You gain from being in, you have to go through this whether it's a junior level or a senior level, and it's just getting great practice to be in and around lots of bodies that are all nervous, nervous tension, and you have to walk through the tunnel and then deliver your personal best, or certainly on your personal best, if you want to get through to another swim.
Now, of course, early stages this morning. As we look at, not that one, that's heat number 3. We will get to that. In fact, that's the 200. We're not quite there yet. 100 breaststroke is where we're starting. And women, heat 1 coming up. I'll give you the 1 to 3 in terms of 3 swimmers going in 3, 4 and 5. And of course, what I was about to say was they're looking for times that will progress them to the junior final tonight. And then we have the target Tokyo final second up. And the senior final will follow straight afterwards when we get underway tonight at 6:30. First of the 100 breaststroke heats then. This one contains Lily Davis of Atlantis, Laura Harrison of Ellesmere College, and Sheffield's Charlotte Holmes in lane number 5.
As we've seen so often this week, the first heat of each event is more of a head-to-head, with just 3 swimmers competing in lanes number 3, 4 and 5. So expect some improvements on their entry times. Their entry times are all around about 15 100ths of a second, around 1:13.6, 1:13.7.
I'm sure all the respective coaches will hope that they can improve upon that by the time they finish this 50. At the 50 split, it's the Sheffield swimmer Charlotte Holmes who leads, from Laura Harrison in 4 and Lily Davis in 3. Probably not going to be much between them at the moment. This is a straight head-to-head between lanes 4 and 5.
Yeah, and it looks like Laura Harrison in lane number 4, slightly ahead of the other 2 girls, but coming back very, very quick. The girl from Atlantis, Lily Davis, in lane number 3.
Yeah, she's having a great second 25 here, and she's probably going to edge it. She's moving into the lead with just a few metres to go. It's going to be tight for second place. The winner, though, clear cut, 1:15.71 for Lily Davis. Second place to Laura Harrison, 1:16.16. And in the end, there was a 17 100ths between second and third place. So the first victory of the morning goes to the swimmer from Atlantis, the woman from Atlantis, in 1:15.71.
Slightly off her entry time of 2:13. 2:15.71 is the time to beat. As we move on to heat number 2.
We're missing lane 8 because there is no lane 8. There you go, 1 to 7. That's your lineup. I'll just refresh it for you in a moment by the time they're back in the pool. So Miranda Bauer of Burnley in 1, Amber Mason of City of Leeds in 2, Rachel Taylor, City of Sunderland in 3, Amy Belfast is on paper from Sheffield in 4, Keris Coley of City of Newport 5, Emily Wood, City of Oxford in 6, and 7 is Chloe Edridge of Street. They've got towards the 35-metre mark and little to separate them, probably just lane 2.
Yeah, she had the best start from the City of Leeds, Amber Mason, but also going very, very well in lane number 7 is Chloe Edridge from Street, and she is going to be the one that turns first. 42. So she is having a storming first 50 out in lane number 7.
Brilliant first 50 for her. We're looking at the 2000 and 2001 intake here. So 15, 16-year-olds in the pool looking for something very quick, and a really good second 50 by Keris Coley in lane number 5. She's come from virtually nowhere to fly through the field, and she's going to win this by quite a distance. Great swim by Keris Coley in lane number 5. 1:12.09 is where she stops the clock. Second place to Chloe Edridge, the early leader. And third place going to Emily Wood. So winning time again, 1:12.09. Again, a pretty decent time and just inside her previous best. So she's knocked a few 100s off there.
Yes, a well-paced race there from the girl from Street. So Newport, sorry, Caris Coley. Really did come back on that last 50 metres, really strong.
On to women's breaststroke heat number 3. All 8 lanes occupied for this one. Maidenhead with Constance Dean in 1, Annabel Guy Johnson of the Monson Club in 2, Danielle Tomlinson of City of Leicester in 3, Tatiana Lonagoff of Guildford in 4, Freya Anderson of Ellesmere in 5, Katie Robertson of South Ayrshire in 6, Gillies All Adams in 7, and Grace Gilroy of Loughborough University in lane 8.
Fantastic start from lane 3. Danielle Tomlinson from the City of Leicester. Flying out down this first 50 metres. She is going to be out-touched by Grace Gilroy from Loughborough University in lane number 8. So the swimmer from lane 8 is just a smidgen ahead of Orla Adams from Geary. 2/100ths of a second separating them at the halfway stage. But now it's getting incredibly tight down this final 25 metres.
Turning into a cracking race. Could be any one of 3 or 4 who could go on and win this. Looking at the bobbing head of 3 at the moment. Coming back in 2, though, is Annabel Guy Johnson. Great finish from her, and I think she's going to take this from the 25 out. It's tight, though. Could be lane 7. Orla Adams just coming in with Katie Robertson, but it is Annabel Guy Johnson of Monson in 1:10.70. Katie Robertson with a brilliant finish to get second, 1:11.15. And third place going to Freya Anderson in 1:11.28. That was a real splash and dash towards the end. And just getting a hand on the wall first, both hands on the wall, of course, with breaststroke, as Annabel Guy Johnson.
Yeah, I've seen already in the first 3 heats of the women's breaststroke, well-paced racers coming back incredibly strong over the final 50. Now moving to the so-called fast swimmers, shall we say?
Yeah.
They're all fast.
You want me to say they cyclically seeded, don't you? Because I hate saying that. That sounds like I've got castanets in my mouth when I'm saying that. There is no Rebecca Swales in lane 8. She was due to start, but she's not. I think this should all be about Molly Renshaw, really, shouldn't it, in lane number 5? But at the moment, it is not. It's lane number 4, Sarah Vasey of the City of Derby.
Yeah, Sarah Vasey going very, very strong. Also going well in lane number 2, Imogen Clark. Expect Molly to come back quick down that last 50. But has she left herself too much to do? It is going to be Sarah Vasey from City of Derby turning first in 31.63. Second place is Rachel Williamson from Derwentshire, 32.34. And Imogen Clark in lane number 2 turning third. But this is where we see the likes of Molly Renshaw from that 200-metre background start coming through the field. It still is Sarah Vasey from the City of Derby, this half a body length ahead with 15 metres to go.
1:07.97 is her best. Molly Renshaw, though, is creeping up on her, catching her with every stroke and might just overtake her on the touch. It's very tight. Molly Renshaw up against Sarah Vasey, and as Sarah Vasey gets her 1:08.92 for the winning time. Molly in 1:09.01, and third place to Rachel Wilson, 1:09.69. Not remarkably quick, I've got to say. I thought Molly would go a little bit quicker than that.
Yeah, Molly normally is a 200-metre breaststroke. We saw her earlier on in the week setting a lifetime best, going under the old British record, just being hipped by Chloe Tutton, who we see in lane number 3 of heat number 5.
Right, on to some names you will recognise, some winning names already this week. Alan Miley from the 400 metres individual medley. Siobhan Marie O'Connor, 2-time winner with 100 freestyle and the 200 IM last night. Going for a hat-trick. She has such a brilliant start. She has a fantastic start, and that puts her ahead of everybody else in the first 15.
Yeah, Siobhan Marie O'Connor, an excellent swimmer. Saw her in the 200 metres IM last night winning. It's interesting to know that she didn't qualify for the 200 metres IM in 2012, so she had to go back to her programme, and she started to focus on the breaststroke, and she actually qualified for this event for London 2012, and she's back again trying to qualify, or certainly under the consideration time for Rio 2016. She's not going to have it all her own way. Corrie Scott from Edinburgh University is turning first, and these two girls now starting to really stretch the field. Past the 75-metre mark, and it still is Siobhan Marie O'Connor from Bath University just edging it.
Yeah, I think she's probably got enough in the tank. She won't want to go fully out this morning because she want to keep something in reserve for tonight, but what she's doing is sufficient and very efficient from Siobhan. 107.19 is the winning time for Siobhan, and that will do it nice comfortably for the top 8, you would think, for tonight. Corrie Scott in second, 108.01. Third place to Chloe Tutton, 108.41. And fourth is Cara Hanlon in 110.20. So 107.19. That's 67.19 for Siobhan. And this event has moved on. That would have been an exceptional time about 10 years ago, but 67.19 is all right. It's on the cusp of being decent.
According to our records, that's a personal best for Siobhan Marie O'Connor.
Which means that there's plenty more, you would think, to come this evening. Heat number 6 of the 100 breaststroke. 61.28. Neem Robinson of Pioneer 79. Jocelyn Elliott of Loughborough in 2. Georgina Evans, City of Liverpool 3. Catherine Johnston of Edinburgh 4. Katie Matz of Stockport Metro in 5. Beth Aitchison of Loughborough goes in 6. 7 is Erin Robertson of South Ayrshire, and Loughborough's Laura Kinley in lane number 8. I look up from reading the details of that. I look at Catherine Johnson making the early running.
Yeah, very closely followed is Katie Matz in lane 5, 1 lane up from her, but it is Catherine Johnson from Edinburgh University turning first, 32.04. Just half a second ahead of Katie Matz from Stockport Metro. Also going very well in lane number 8. Lauren Kingley from Loughborough University. The rest of the field now starting to claw back.
Well, Catherine, who has represented Scotland at international level, is pulling clear, it looks like, of Katie Matz. Katie Matz is holding on to her, though. And on the other side, coming with a late burst, is Jocelyn Elliott in lane number 2. But she won't quite get there before Catherine Johnston. 109.27. Just shows how well Siobhan went in the previous heat, because that's nowhere near. 109.27 for Catherine. Did what she had to do in the heats. But we'll give you the 8 who've made it through in a moment. But Siobhan way ahead of everybody else. So there's a big chasm between 1 and 2 there. And she's going to go for maybe a third. Here comes the ones who've made it through. Siobhan Marie O'Connor, Corrie Scott, Chloe Tutton, Sarah Vasey, Molly Renshaw, Catherine Johnson, Katie Matz and Rachel Wilson, all through to the final of the 100 breaststroke for women tonight.
Well, that was a great swim there, Amy, from Siobhan Marie O'Connor, especially given her performance last night in the 200 IM.
Yeah, that was a really solid heat swim for her. Obviously, after last night, she'll be over the moon, and she probably didn't get much sleep either. So it's great for her to come in this morning and do a really solid heat swim.
Yeah. Now, you'll know firsthand yourself, how difficult is it to compete in a final the night before, knowing how much you've got at stake the next day? We're going to see her actually coming up later on in the women's 100 fly, but how do you recover as well as you want to and get hydrated, get food, and you're ready to be able to perform? Because as you said earlier, it's about getting the central lanes.
Yeah, kind of as soon as you finish one swim, you've got to focus on what you've got to do for the next swim. So normally a good swim down in the pool, making sure that your lactates drop from the race, and getting a good carbohydrate meal and a lot of protein in the night before. So if you can kind of do all those things right and you practice that, then you should have no problem coming in the next morning and performing.
And then from your point of view as well, how do you deal with the pressure of the events? Because when you know you've got 3 or 4 events in a week, you've got the heats, you've got the finals, the preparation, how do you prepare for that?
You've kind of just got to take one event at a time, I think, and that's normally how I tackle that.
Yeah, how you tackle it, how you smash it as well, Amy. Well, let's move on now to our next amount of heats.
Next one being the men's 200 metres backstroke. An event in the past in which Great Britain was very, very strong. The likes of Gregor Tate, James Goddard, for example. And we're not talking about ancient history, quite recent history. Gregor hopefully might be tuned in in Australia watching this. And these are the 7 who will go to post for the first heat. And I'll give a chance to go through a more leisurely pace once they're in the pool. Now, can somebody take this event on? Because at the moment it's a bit stagnant in British terms. We want somebody to kind of break it open and get some world-class times. These will be obviously featuring and focusing on the junior final tonight, if they could possibly make it. James Newton of City of Peterborough in 1, Tobias Stanya of Mount Kelly in 2, Miles Sturck of Leeds in 3, another Mount Kelly swimmer, Finn Linton, obviously concentrating a lot on their backstrokers in that club, in lane number 4, Oliver Fitt of St Ives in 5, Henry Chesterman of Millfield, always gets a big cheer. His friends aren't in this morning, I don't know where they are, they're normally here to give him support. 7, George Lehman of Clevedon, that's your 1 to 7.
A great start from Oliver Fitt in lane number 5. He is turning first, 29.37. It's interesting to have a look at the stroke rates of the swimmers. You can compare lanes 5 with Oliver Fitt in the orange cap. He's actually just reduced his stroke rate actually from the first 50. His stroke rate was very, very high over the first 50. And Henry Chesterman has a more of a slower stroke rate, more efficient, a lot more powerful, keeping his head really still. As you can see, the swimmer 2 lanes up on your screen in the white cap. Also coming through now in lane number 4, Finn Linton from Mount Kelly, starting to really drive down this third 50. And he's blown open this first heat of the 200 meters backstroke. As he goes into the final turn, he's going to turn first. He's just over half a second ahead of the rest of the field. And now he is increasing his stroke rate as he drives down the final 25 meters.
Well, it looks impressive. What kind of time he can do is entry time is 2:08.37. Well, watching the clock tick over, I think that's well within range, but coming right back onto his shoulder, the lead swimmer, Miles Sturck, who wants to win this. Has he given himself enough time to win it? They're going to go to the wall together. Miles Sturck might just get there, you know, he has. 2:07.20 for the lead swimmer, who had a brilliant last 25. Was not in the frame until that very last part of the race. And Finn Linton has to make do with second place there. Both of them into the 2:07 for the first time.
Yeah, it was a well-paced race. Coming back very, very strong down that final 50 meters. Just getting the touch by 0.2 of a second over Finn Linton. We move on to heat number 2. See the swimmers again in the core room. A lot more relaxed than it will be tonight for the finals.
How did you treat the core room? Did you treat it as a room where you wanted to be isolated on your own, not talk to anybody? Was there much camaraderie in there?
Depends what event, to be fair. If it was something like the 50-meter butterfly, which I didn't do a lot, it'd be more of a jovial atmosphere from myself. But if it was something like the 200-meter freestyle, which we're going to see later on this morning, I was very much focused on my event and take myself to one side. Didn't want to be surrounded by anybody. Just concentrate on your own race.
It's interesting. We'll see different dynamics as the day progresses from that core room. With some people chatting and laughing, and some people just sitting in the corner with their headphones on, wanting to be isolated and think about their race to come. Now, good start from Ethan Harrington in 4 from Plymouth. We've been talking a lot about the 50 freestylers and 100 freestylers in Plymouth this week. There is a bit more depth in terms of the events they do, the strokes they do in Plymouth. I think Ethan's showing us that. He's in lane 4 and he'll touch and turn in first place.
I mentioned already this week, Plymouth Leander swimmers are technically very, very good. That's one thing that John Rudd is really hot on down in Plymouth. And it's great to see that the hard work that these swimmers put in on a daily basis on their skills is transferring into races. This is the biggest part of a race, in my opinion, that you can really gain some easy speed, easy time. You can knock off 0.3, 0.4 off each turn just on the rotation, feet on the wall, working that streamline and working that dolphin kick underwater. And it's a fast 100 from Ethan Harrington from Plymouth Leander, turning first in 58.83.
Well, he's got an entry time in the 2:06s. Goes on like this, it'd be well inside 2:06. Can he keep that momentum going? Can he keep that pace going for the whole 200 metres? Well, he's shortly coming towards 150, and nobody's got anywhere near him. He's way out in front. I'll tell you, he's making a bit of a burst, though, is Alexander Seymour in lane number 1 from Mount Kelly. He's trying to get into the top 3 if he can. He is in the top 3 now. Ethan Harrington, 1:30.88 at the turn. William Gain in second from Nova, and Alexander Seymour is going like a bullet from a gun in lane number 1, but he's not going to get anywhere close to our winner, and it is our winner. We can already call that with 25 to go.
He's absolutely flying. Absolutely flying. Turned in 1:30.88. So you have to have a look on the ball, but he's going to go well under that 2:06.67 entry time.
Massively inside it. 2:03.89. Well, John Rudd applauds his swimmer in the coach's pen. Absolutely thrilled by that, as well he might be. 2:03.89. William Gain, 2:06.33. Ethan Harrington's given himself a chance to get into the senior final with a time like that. 2:03.89.
It was excellent. Huge improvement on his entry time. 2:06.67 his entry time. 2:03.89. That's the way to do it.
And some more Plymouth Leander swimmers stepping up to the plate now. And as I say, we've been talking a lot about the freestyle, but Perry Gardner's in there, Joe Patching's in there, 3 and 4 for Plymouth Leander. So it's an interesting program that John's got. People talk a lot about their freestyles. We saw it with the 1 and 2 yesterday in the 50, but there's obviously a bit more depth and other strokes that are being looked at and advanced. And John has that great reputation about bringing junior swimmers through, and we're seeing that here. Now let's see what we can do with the 1:08, which looks like this. Jamie Scholes of Peterborough in 1, Daniel Hall of City of Leeds in 2, Perry Gardner of Plymouth in 3, Joseph Patching in 4 for Plymouth, 5 Xavier Mohammed of City of Cardiff, Elliot Clogg, whose mum sent me a lovely message, which I'll read at the end of this race, for City of Sheffield in 6, James McFadden of Wickham District in 7, and Thomas Thornley of Bicester. Bicester in lane number 8.
Every time. Turning first at the 50 metres is actually lane number 5, Xavier Mohammed from City of Cardiff. 28.00, 12.100 behind Joseph Patching from Plymouth Leander. We've seen Xavier Mohammed already this week. Excellent result in the 100 metres backstroke in the top 3. But so far it is now Joseph Patching that's starting to extend his lead, half a body length ahead of Xavier Mohammed and Perry Gardner, his teammate in lane number 3, and they are your 1 to 3. Fantastic turn from Joe Patching in lane number 4. Really using that dolphin kick to great effect. Going about 12 to 13 metres off that wall. And now powering down the third 50.
Sharon Clogg, by the way, you've made the Clogg family's week with your commentary, Ross and Bob. Thank you very much indeed for that. Let's see how your boy does today with about 50 to go. I'll tell you where he is at the moment. He's in 3rd place. He's made his way up from 5th to 3rd on that 50. Joe Patching still leads, Xavier Mohammed holding on to 2nd, but Elliot has made that move through into 3rd place.
Great skills from Joe Patching. So good underwater. Xavier Mohammed trying to come back over the final 25 metres. It's going to be tight, but it looks like it's going to be Joe Patching that closes out heat number 3.
Well, he's going to go under the 2-minute barrier. Here he goes, 1:59.48 for Joe Patching, 2:00.40 for Xavier Mohammed. Elliot Clogg coming in on 2:01.37, so that's a PB for Elliot. And Joe Patching's entry time, 1:58, so you can aim for that later on today. That's a new personal best for Elliot in 3rd place. Xavier Mohammed taking 2nd, Perry Gardner, another Plymouth swimmer in position number 4 in that heat. So first sub 2-minute swim this morning in 200 back.
It certainly is. Joe Patching, silver medalist at this event last year. He's one of those swimmers that has been to the European Juniors. He's done his time as an apprentice, now trying to make it as a senior in British swimming. Hopefully going to challenge that consideration time, which is incredibly quick tonight, 1:55.13, the consideration time for the Rio 2016 Olympic Games.
Families in. Lane 6. Lane 1, Oliver Goodhue, Mid Sussex. Brodie Williams of Millfield in 2. Martin Walton of University of Stirling in 4. Craig McNally. Now we're going to see a really quick time from Craig, because we know he's capable of it. Lane 4, Joseph Hume of Bath in 4. Jack Warren Ballard in lane number 6. Ross McCafferty of City of Glasgow 7. And Kieran Smith of Loughborough goes in lane number 8. I'm expecting something quite special from Craig. I don't know why, I just have a feeling he could provide us with one of those great stories of the week.
Craig burst into the scene in 2013, making the World Championship team for Barcelona, and then coming 5th in the 200 metres backstroke final. Craig comes back so quick over the last half of the race. Sometimes leaves himself a little bit too much to do. On paper, and it is only on paper, he is the only one that is close to the consideration time. But as we've seen this week, so many occasions, there's been so many surprises, the likes of Chloe Tutton and the likes of. Not a surprise to her and her coach, but a surprise to the rest of the field. But going really well is Joseph Hume from Bath University. He is a full body length ahead. Also going well in lane number 2, Brodie Williams having a great week this week from Millfield. Doing a lot of the IMs. Craig McNally is in 3rd, but expect Craig to come back quick over this last 100, but he's going to have to do an awful lot if he's going to catch Joseph Hume. Yeah, this is impressive stuff from Joe Hume in lane number 5. And we've seen 1 sub-2 minute swim. I think we'll see maybe 3 in this if they keep going at this kind of pace. Looking good from Joe Hume in 5. Craig McNally at the moment has no response, but coming back in 3, Martin Walton. Yeah, you can just see there, Craig McNally starting to move up through the field, starting to close that gap from Joseph Hume. Joseph Hume will probably be starting to feel that strong pace for the first opening 150 metres, but he's picked up his stroke rate down this final 50 and he's absolutely flying. Well, according to my sheets, he's not ever been sub-2 minutes. Great chance for it to happen here, providing he can keep it going for another 15. Here comes Craig McNally right back onto his trunks, eventually probably onto his shoulders, but he's not going to overtake him before he gets to the finish. The first sub-2 swim, yes, only just, but it is. 1:59.91 for Joe Hume. 2nd is Craig McNally, and 3rd going to Brodie Williams. So another sub-2 minute swim, and first time that Joe Hume has been there according to our stats. 1:59.91. Gave it a little fist pump as well. Has he broken the timing device there? There's something floating now in that lane. No, that's the new backstroke wedge. Just putting it in for the next heat. A great swim from Joseph Hume. Really attacked that heat this morning, heat number 4, with 1 heat to go. He's put a marker down. So we've also seen a sub-2 minute swim from Joseph Patching. So it's good to see some of these swimmers already going under the 2 minute barrier mark, but they're going to have to go a lot quicker for that consideration time tonight. Yeah, it's a big ask, to be absolutely honest. This event, as I say, that's not quite moved on in the way that we'd hope it would, but we have seen already this week, like for example the 200 breaststroke for women. There's a big movement in the right direction for 2 swimmers there, so perhaps it can happen with the 200 back for men as well. We've got confirmation on the previous heat. We haven't yet. Yes, we have. It's now revolved. Not on our board, it hasn't. Still there from the last one. I'll give you the 1 to 8 in the 200 backstroke. Good, that's cleared. So we're fine to go. Alistair Campbell. No, not that one. University of Stirling in 1. Let's see him do it though. Daniel Cross of Loughborough in 2. Callum Barrett, also of Loughborough, in 3. On paper, certainly entry time wise, fastest in the field of all the heats. Luke Greenbank of Cockermouth in 4. Jonathan Carlisle, City of Sunderland, in 5. Bath University's William Harrison in 6. Daniel Jervis, we saw him in the 1500 last night, going for Swansea Aquatics in lane 7. And Jacob Greenough, who's had a lot of swims this week, from Taunton Dean in lane number 8. And it is the swimmer in lane number 4, Luke Greenbank from Cockermouth, is going to turn first, 27.86. A real promising talent within British swimming. And on the backstroke, He's just come back from a stint in Australia, training with the City of Derby, with the likes of Adam Peaty. So getting the sun on his back, and he's absolutely flying down the
like
final
what I'm
heat.
seeing here. This is good. Very good from Luke. Now, what's his split time going to be? 57.27 is what it is. He's in front of Jonathan Carlisle in second, William Harrison in third. In fact, 2, 3, 4 and 5 are very closely bunched, but not the leader. He's a good 2, 3 body lengths clear of everybody else right now.
Yeah, it really is, and the race is on for the second and third. There's 4 swimmers in a line, lanes 2, 3, 5 and 6, but no doubt who is leading at the 150-metre mark. It is going to be Luke Greenbank from Cockermouth. He does turn in 1:27.38, so he's the fastest to 150 so far of this morning piece, and looking incredibly strong. I've already mentioned he's a great junior swimmer, now starting to make that transition into the senior ranks, and he's doing it very, very well this morning.
Not easy off either. He could well do, because he knows how far clear he is of everybody else. He could easily just turn things off now and glide in, ease his way in, but not doing that, because he wants a really quick time, and he's got a really quick time. This is good, very good. 1:58 for Luke, far and away the fastest time. 1:58 dead for Luke Greenbank, and not even breathing heavily. Looks like he's got plenty in reserve. That's a good sign for tonight.
Yeah, just gave it a little nod. Pleased with that. He would know how that felt in correlation to the time. So fantastic swim from Luke Greenbank.
1:58 the winning time. We'll give you the qualifiers for the men's 200 backstroke. Luke Greenbank 1:58, but so we had 3 under the time. I'll give you the qualifiers. Luke Greenbank, Joe Patching, Joe Hume, Craig McNally, Xavier Mohammed, Elliot Clogg make it in 6th, Brodie Williams and Callum Barrett. That's your 1 to 8 for the final tonight of the 200 backstroke for men.
So Luke there just didn't really look too out of breath and posted a great time. What are you going to expect to see from him this evening?
Yeah, he looked great there this morning in the pool. He took that race out from the beginning and took control of it, and tonight I imagine he'll be pretty quick, and he'll be looking to get close to that Olympic qualification time.
Yeah. Bit of pressure on him as well. He's kind of dubbed as the special talent coming forwards, up and coming as well. Would that put a lot of pressure on his shoulders, or do you think he'll be all right just to ride with that?
He seems like the kind of guy that doesn't really worry too much about that. As I say, he kind of took that race out from the beginning, and he showed that he's got the experience and the control to kind of own that race tonight.
Yeah, well, we'll take a look at his performance now. To sort of, for you to analyse it really, Amy, what did you make of it, and at what point do you think he can improve on tonight or excel on tonight, because it's going to be a tough final?
Yeah, he looked really good, I say, as from the beginning, and in a 200 backstroke, the third length's normally the make or break of the race. So he's going to really have to work hard off the second 50 and push down the third, and I guess the adrenaline will carry him down that last length.
And you know firsthand, because obviously backstroke used to be your event. Now, you were saying to me earlier, your dad used to swim in the 400 IM. Is your time faster than your dad's time? That's an important question.
Yeah, unfortunately not yet. He went, I think,
not yet though.
4:29, I hope. And if I get anywhere near that in the end of my career, I'll be really happy. So there's that little bit of rivalry still to who can get.
Yeah, I love that. Rivalry with your dad. I love
Yeah.
it. Right, let's move on to our next event, the women's 100 metres butterfly.
Third event of the programme. Here's the 100 metres butterfly, and in total we will bring you 6 heats of the women's 100 butterfly. First up, 8 going to start. Here they come. Kaylee Parker of Yeovil, Anna Pang of Guildford, Tara Howarth of Lincoln, then 2 Newcastle swimmers side by side, Jane Brown and Laura Hodgson, Spencer Williams of Brompton, Emma Harvey of Millfield, and Romford Town's Holly Hildrew.
So 2 Newcastle swimmers in lane number 4 and 5. We spoke a lot about them during the week. Newcastle having a great meet so far, with the emergence of some brilliant talent coming through on the junior level. Saw them doing their pre-pool in the warm-up, taking it really, really serious, working on their core stability and stretching before they get into the warm-up. So a real professional outfit up in Newcastle, and the results are showing. But so far in the opening heat, it's Emma Harvey from Millfield that's taking this out very, very strong.
Yeah, very good opening 75. Now, can she keep it going, or has she gone too quick? They're coming right back at her on the far side. Anna Pang in lane 2 is flying through. So too is Tara Howarth Who's going to get this touch? It might well be the cap of Lincoln Vulcans, and it is 63.19 compared to 63.20 for Lauren Hodgson. So hardly anything between 1 and 2. Well, not even a fingernail between 1 and 2 actually. Third place Spencer Williams, and fourth Emma Harvey.
You say there's nothing between 1 and 2. There's nothing between 1 and 7. 0.4 separating the first 6 girls, should I say? Really close race. All came down to the touch.
Well, I think we might see a few more like that in the heats to come. Heat 2 of the 100 butterfly. Pioneer 79, represented by Neem Robinson, Highland USA. Get them. Alex Reddington in 2. Amy Bell of City of Sheffield in 3. 4, Orla Dyer of City of Sheffield. Kiana McInnes of Heart of Midlothian in 5. Evan King of Weston-super-Mare in 6. Kiara Schlossen back again for more. She's been in there a lot this week. City of Leeds in 7. Anna Fleming of City of Glasgow. 40 minutes completed. How's it looking?
Looks like it is going to be the swimmer in lane 7, Cara Slosson from City of Leeds, 21st. Had a great week, and it's really nice to reflect on the performances this week, because you're seeing, you know, in this case, girls coming back that have really put in a great week, finishing off on the final day, but also going very well. Storming through the last 50 metres is Avon King from Weston-super-Mare in lane number 6.
And lane number 1 on the far side, Neem Robinson as well, all coming into the wall together, but I think Kiara Slosson led at 50 and she leads at 100 as well, and the first time she's gone sub 62, 61.91 for Kiara Slosson. Evan King in second place, third to Neem Robinson, and as predicted and as anticipated by me, a lot of very tight finishes once again. 1 to 4 separated by less than a second there.
It's great to see close racing early on a Sunday morning. It's what these competitions are all about.
Of course, they haven't had the night that you've just had, so that's probably why they're swimming fast. Heat number 3 of the women's 100, but there's no secrets in this commentary box at all, are there? Caitlin Hubbard of City of Birmingham 1. Emily Large, one of our favourite swimmers of the week, is back in 2. Anna Newlands of Stockport in 3. Harriet West of Loughborough 4. Emma Gage of Stockport 5. Fiona Hardy of Poole in 6. Kirsty Simpson of City of Aberdeen 7. And Eve White of Dumfries in 8. I just realised, of course, your wife watches these transmissions. You might be ringing her after we've finished the broadcast now.
Going well in lane number 7, Kirsty Simpson from City of Aberdeen, turning first in 28.37. Emma Gage from Stockport Metro closely following her, 1/100 separating at the halfway mark. It's the girls in lanes 4 and 5 that are starting to move forward. We've seen Emily Large so many times this week. A fantastic result on the 200 metres butterfly. She's flying out in lane number 2.
Do you know, I think every swim this week she's done a personal best, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. 101.80. She's going to win this, and she's going to win it in under 101.80 surely, isn't she? Yes, she is. Wow, she's not 1.2 nearly, just over 1.1 of her personal best. And I'm sure that every single swim she's done this week, she's done a PB.
Another one of the Newcastle swimmers. When you mentioned them this morning, she's part of that crupper and that group that's coming through, emerging talent, and she's been fantastic this week. Really, really good. Really impressed with her, and that was a fantastic time. She's going to be tired. She's been to so many events this week.
I think our coach would be tired just watching her, but 60.69 gives you a real fillip, and again, there's a lot of clubs doing fantastic things, but Newcastle have had their problems last few years with pool access or lack of pool, and definitely on the up and up, and being spearheaded by her. Heat number 4. She's back for more. She doesn't know when to quit, does she? Siobhan Marie O'Connor. We saw her early on, looked absolutely superb. I'm sure she still has the best start. I love her starts. Siobhan Marie O'Connor in lane number 4 on the 100 butterfly, and not a bit tired. She's going to go for it again.
There's no doubt Siobhan Marie O'Connor is world class. A bronze medal last year at the World Championships for the 200 metres IM. Fly is one of her, well, I say one of her strong events. She's got 4 strong events. She She won the 100 freestyle earlier on Friday. She's qualified for the breaststroke, and now here she's doing the butterfly. So the only one she hasn't done is the 100 meters backstroke, and she really is showing her class in lane number 4.
Well, we saw a personal best from her earlier in the session. She's going to do 2 back-to-back here. 58.37 is her best. She is being pursued by Charlotte Atkinson in lane number 3. Now, how close to that 58.37 can she get? 59.11. Don't worry, that'll come tonight. Second place, Charlotte Atkinson in 60.11, 61.41 for Sophie Smith, and 4th to Tane Bruce. But 59.11, and consider that she had that race not so long ago, seemed to be a breeze for Siobhan.
Yeah, some way off her personal best. That's what you would expect in the morning heats, especially after doing the 100 meters breaststroke. What, some 20 minutes ago.
Well, she's moved it under the minute mark. Hopefully we'll move it a bit further with this list. Look in the centre lane, there's Gemma Lowe. Bags and bags of experience. Olympic, Worlds, Europeans, Commonwealths. She's done it all. Now what she needs to do, of course, is win the title tonight and do it in a quick time as well. She's had a very, very good start too. In lane number 4, has had a tendency to rush it and run out of juice at the end.
She's coming from that 200 meter butterfly background, and she's now starting to drop down the distances as she matures and gets a little bit older, but still a fantastic butterfly swimmer. Turning first 27.44. Second place, Laura Stevens from Plymouth Leander, and Tasmin Pugh from Ellesmere College in 3rd. But no doubt the clear leader so far at 75 metres is Gemma Lowe, wanting to put a marker down, wanting to gain a lot of confidence going into tonight's final. And this is going to be a commanding swim from Gemma Lowe.
Looking at Coach Dave McNulty on the sidelines, watching her come in to finish in 58.88. So the first time we've gone under 59 this morning. It was a 59.11 for Siobhan Marie O'Connor, improved upon by about 1/3 of a second in the end by Gemma Lowe. Second place going to Laura Stevens, 60.19, 60.88 for the 3rd place swimmer. And that's Tasmin Pugh with Amelia Kleins of Leeds in 4th, 101.78. Right, on to the last of the heats. Now, people are telling me that Rachel Kelly is in terrific form, and all her lead up to this event has kind of indicated she might do something quite special. I don't want to put too much around her neck at this stage, but let's see what she can do. From Loughborough University in lane 4. Emma Smithhurst in 1 for City of Manchester Aquatics. Raquel Matos of Edinburgh in 2. Ellen Thomas of Guildford in 3. Alice Thomas of Swansea in 5. Elena Sheridan of Romford in 6. Harriet Jones, 7 from Cardiff. And Candice Hall in 8. How is she looking, Rachel Kelly, early on? Well, she's being flanked all the way by lane number 3, Ellen Thomas.
Yeah, she's going well. Rachel Kelly in lane number 4, and she does touch first, 27.30, so slightly quicker than the previous heat, but up straight away off the turn. Alice Thomas taking the whole 15 metres underwater, and these two swimmers are almost neck and neck. Rachel Kelly is one of our international swimmers, competed at the Commonwealth Games and the World Championships over the last couple of years, and now she's using that experience just to stretch the field.
Rachel Kelly bouncing off the surface as she comes in to the completion of it, and there is your fastest time of the morning, 58.46, not hanging around. 0.4 of a second quicker than Gemma Lowe, nearly 3/4 of a second quicker than Siobhan Marie O'Connor. 2 going under the 60-second barrier there. Alice Thomas, 58.90 in second. Ellen Thomas, 1:00.92. Tell you the 8 that have gone through to the senior final once all the times have been tabulated. And it'll be coming up any moment now. Here it comes. Rachel Kelly, Gemma Lowe, Alice Thomas, Siobhan Marie O'Connor, Charlotte Atkinson, Laura Stevens, Emily Large and Tasmin Pugh. Those are the 8 who will go through to the senior final later on today of the 100 butterfly.
Well, I tell you what, 6:20 tonight is a place to be for the live stream. I'm telling you, there's going to be a few decent finals tonight. That one in particular.
Yeah, that race will be really close tonight. Obviously, Gemma Lowe swam well this morning. You've got Siobhan, who's just been in
back
100
again.
breast.
We've already seen her this morning.
She's in and out of the pool at the moment really quick, and obviously Alice Thomas. So that'll be a really, really quick final tonight.
Yeah. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about Amy Wilmot. So, how old were you when you learned to swim?
I learned to swim when I was really young, so probably by the age of 5 or 6, I could already do probably 25 metres.
Yeah.
But I did my first sort of little competition when I was 9, and then from there just kept going and going to where I am now.
Yeah, and you said that your parents really encouraged you to learn to swim as well.
Yeah, my dad used to be a swimmer, so he kind of always wanted me to swim, and my mum wanted to make sure I was safe on holiday. So between the two of them, I kind of was thrown in the pool and kind of found my way.
I bet your parents didn't realise that they'd probably be following you around the world watching you swim as well.
Yeah, they
Years to
definitely
come.
think, well, where are all them weekends gone? But then that's obviously the sacrifice they put in, and obviously I'm really grateful for that.
And they've been here this week as well?
Yeah, they follow me around, obviously, all my big competitions, so they've been here, and it's kind of great to have such a support network following you around when you're struggling, and they're just always there.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're excited for the summer for you as well.
Yeah, hopefully. They're not sure whether they're going to be out in Rio yet or watch on the TV, but either way, they'll probably be having a bit of a party.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. You're Northern, aren't you? Of course you're going to be having a party, Amy. Right, well, let's move on now to the men's 200-metre freestyle heats.
Amy Wilmot's having a party. Doesn't have quite the ring of Jamie Vardy's having a party, does it? 200 freestyle, heat number 1. And 3 will start this one. Oh, actually, no, 2 will start this one because we've lost one. I don't know quite where we lost him, but we lost Jarvis Parkinson somewhere along the way. So we'll only have 4 and 5 here. Jack Watson of City of Aberdeen. I think the first time we've had an Isle of Man swimmer. I don't remember mentioning the Isle of Man this week. Alexander Bragassi goes in lane 5.
Bragassi had a great start. Jack Watson already about a metre behind 20 metres, but he's clawed that back already. And he's actually going to turn first, 27.27, so 14/100ths of a second separating them at the opening 50-metre mark. You don't really get this head-to-head swimming. Normally you are surrounded by lots of other swimmers. This is almost like a time trial or a swim-off where it is just head-to-head racing. They will have times that they want to achieve coming into this competition, but this is where actually you can really improve your times just because you know you've got to beat the person next to you.
Not much between them. Only 0.4 of a second at the moment. 57.31 plays 57.72. Jack Watson just with his nose in front from the City of Aberdeen. But I reckon they're not going to be separated by much when they get to 200. So not separated by much as they get to the 135-metre stage.
Stroke for stroke, literally matching each other every single stroke as we go down the third 50. 3/100ths of a second separating them on paper, and 8/100ths of a second separating them at the 150-metre mark. But it is Bragassi that is now starting to make his move down the final 50 into the last 25 metres. Really has picked up his stroke rate, but Jack Watson is chasing him every step of the way.
Well, Bragassi has it, I think, by about 3/4 of a body length. It will be tight at the finish, but they are around about their entry times. Bragassi of the Isle of Man in first, Jack Watson of City of Aberdeen in second, and they're both clear, so those times will count. I think they probably would have both liked to go a little bit quicker than they did, but 1:55.90 is the winning time for Bragassi.
200 freestyle is an event that has really moved on over the last 4 years in British swimming. Seems to have a real strong depth.
Always has been quite strong, actually. You think about certainly relays over the years. It's been one of our stronger relays.
Yeah, and certainly in the men's team, it has been one of the stronger relays. I will say that because
You're part of it.
yeah, oh yes, it's one of the best. Yeah, no, but certainly in the last 4 years, it has improved. The depth has really got stronger, and it really does help when you've got the world champion that is doing this discipline, James Guy. He'll be coming up in one of the later heats. But you've got the experienced swimmers like Robbie Rennick to also throw into the mix.
We're looking for some standout breakthrough swims here because there is a relay to be considered. So not just James Guy and Robbie Rennick, but looking for at least 3 more, probably 4 more. We need 6 really, don't we, for a relay? So 4 more to make up that team. And it's certainly got a decent chance, if everybody swims as best they can, to be in medal contention for Rio 2016. First of all, they've got to get there, of course. They're not there yet. They can't hang a medal around their neck, can't give them qualification till they actually get there. But at the halfway stage, Daniel Davis of Swansea is leading. Second place, Sam Budd of Sheffield, and third place to Luke Turley of Hatfield.
Just 1/100 of a second separating lanes 5 and 6, with Daniel Davis just getting his feet on the wall at the halfway stage. And now he's driving down the third 50 really strong, extending his lead. It's not going to be 1/100 of a second anymore. In fact, it's more like 0.6 of a second. And it's Daniel Davis, 1:25.55. His entry time on this event is 1:54.58. The rest of the swimmers now starting to really close the gap. It's going to be a blanket finish from 3 to 6.
Luke Turley is coming back very, very strongly. In fact, might come through to take this. It's going to be very tight between him and Sam Budd. Sam Budd gets there just ahead of Daniel Davis in the end. 1:54.75 for the City of Sheffield, Sam Budd. He's shaking his head. Why is he shaking his head? Because it's just slightly outside his personal best, that's why. 1:54.75. Be a bit annoyed with that because looks in condition to go a bit quicker. Swansea swimmer in second place, and third to Luke Turley. Correct, yeah. Right, on to heat number 3. And here is a full continuous. Checking the numbers, make sure there's no vacant lane. No, they're all there. Thomas Sinclair of Aquasulis in 1, James Gilly of Millfield in 2, Charlie Humphreys of Nova Centurion in 4, Lewis Burris of Southport in 4, Thomas Kingham of Millfield in 5, Nathan Wells of West Norfolk in 6, Joe Litchfield back for more, Max's brother, little brother, Dr. Darts in 7, and William Cole of City of Bristol going in lane 8.
Yeah, the Litchfield family having a great week this week. Max obviously going under the consideration time, but if you can see the turn from Joe Litchfield in lane number 7, absolutely flying underwater for around about 12-13 metres. There's William Cole that turns first, 25.94.
The outside smokers we've got to watch here, 1 and 8 seem to be furthest advanced here, and they're going to come to the wall almost together. Lane 8's going to get there first. William Cole at the halfway stage, 55.20. Thomas Sinclair, 55.43. It's an awkward one, this, because they obviously have no indication of where each other is, because they're in lanes separated by 7.
Another great turn from Joe Litchfield, using 10-11 metres under the water, but it still is lanes at 1 and 2. They're out in front, also coming strong in lane number 5, Thomas Kingham from Millfield. There's a pink cap.
For another blanket finish here, Ross, by the looks of things, because they're all starting to bunch up in heat number 3, all around the 1:53 mark.
Just watch that turn from Joe Litchfield. Almost like Michael Phelps.
Well, he's been watching the right DVDs if that's the case. And is he going to come through to win this from lane 7? He possibly can and possibly will.
Starting to really storm down this fourth 50, and he's just edging into the lead of the final 5 metres.
So Joe's entry time, 1:54.05. Better that, by nearly 2 seconds. Wow. Actually, just over a second in the end. I'm getting a bit excited about his time, but still, it's a big one for him, because he's down to 1:53s now. 1:53.12 for Joe Litchfield. Thomas Kingham of Millfield getting second, William Cole in third. So that's the quickest thus far for baby brother. 1:53.12 for Joe Litchfield.
Great skill level, and a great swim. Paced it really, really well. Didn't go out too fast. He was up there with the early pace setters, but certainly brought it home incredibly well over the final 75 metres.
Well, we'll have to get him in the senior final tonight, but I think we'll see him in the Target Tokyo final probably again. As we're on to the 200 freestyle heat number 4, and in this one, Angus Barr, East Kilbride, Jamie O'Connor, Thanet Swim, Sean Muscroft, City of Liverpool in 3, Oliver Tennant of Swansea 4, Thomas Howley Newcastle in 5, Julian Chan Kwei Lin of Mount Kelly in 6, and Jake Tyson of Team Ipswich in lane number 7. They are a quarter way done.
It is going to be Thomas Howley, Newcastle, turning first, 25.83. Real tight at the turn, only 0.009 separating the first three. Also going very well, Jamie O'Connor from Thanet Swim in lane number 2. And now he has taken over the reins of heat number 4 and starting to fly down the second 50. He's got to keep it together, got to really work the next 50. The third 50 is very, very important on 200-meter events. Some people back off on the third 50 to have a storming last 50 meters. By that time, the race could be gone. So you've got to be in contention on the third 50 and then really drive home on the last 50.
1:52.58 is his best time. Obviously doing some good things down there in Kent. Thanet Swim, because he's looking very good, 150. Now, can he bring it back? It's a question. 1:22.36 as the others come back towards him. Jake Tyson of Ipswich in second place, coached by Dave Champion. Of course, had a champion in Karen Pickering in this event in the 200 freestyle.
So far, it is Jamie O'Connor, Thanet Swim in lane number 2. Now, this is another heat where we're seeing one of the outside lanes really take it to the centre lanes. And he's having a storming swim.
So, PB 1:52.58, 1:51.39. So again, well over a second improvement for him. Julian Quilin in second place, 1:51.94. Third to Jake Tyson, 1:51.98. We're getting towards those 150s, but great improvement again from our winner, Jamie O'Connor.
Yeah, great swim. Really started to drive off that third 25 metres, down that second 50. Put himself out there in front, and then nobody caught him up. Great swim.
Yeah, down the 1:51, so it won't be too long, we hope, before he's knocking on the 150s. These boys we know are going to go sub 150, or some of them are anyway. Certainly tonight when they get into the final. Luke Howdle of City of Sheffield in 1, Jordan Hughes, University of Stirling in 2. Max Litchfield, seen baby brother do a personal best earlier on. What can he do from lane 3? Robbie Rennick, we know he'll go well because he's one of the most established 200 freestyle swimmers, if not the most established 200 freestyle swimmer we now have in lane number 4. Stephen Milne, Perth City, freshman is 1500 last night. Wonder how fresh he is. 6, Cameron Brown of City of Newport, Thomas Atkinson of City of Sheffield in 7, Alex Dunk of Prescott in 8, and it's Stephen Milne making the early running.
Yeah, 25.38. Second place is Robbie Rennick. Alex Dunk going very well in lane number 8. Normally goes out very fast. Alex Dunk, been a member of the European junior team over the years. There's the centre lanes now. It still is Stephen Milne, being closely followed by Robbie Rennick and Max Litchfield. And this is going to be Stephen Milne just turning first, 4/100 of a second, or 5/100 of a second, separating first, second. And Max Litchfield in with the mix, but Robbie just controlling this race. Didn't go out too fast, went out reasonably slow for the first 50. He just want to be reserving as much energy as possible. He needs to make sure he is in the final for tonight. Also with an eye on the spot for the 4x200 team, Stephen Milne and Max Litchfield, all tracking Robbie very, very closely. But Robbie's going to turn first at the 150-metre mark. Now he's going to put on the afterburners and just move away from the field. He does have that raw speed. Did a very good 100. Pulled out to the final to concentrate on the 200 metres. And this is where we're seeing his class just move away from the field down this final 50.
Well, Robbie's been in the 146s before now, and just outside the 146s this time. 147.49 for Robbie Rennick. Second place is Stephen Milne in 147.98, and Max Litchfield 148.95 for Max, and that is another personal best for him, knocking them down as the week goes on.
Great swim from Robbie. Really was an even pace race. Went out reasonably slow. Went out very slow, in fact, over the first 50. 25.6. He wants to be around about the 24 high come tonight's final, and he really back-ended it well. So Robbie's looking in good form. Let's see what the other boys have in heat number 6,
which contains that 8. And I'll give you the lineup more leisurely. Craig McLean of University of Stirling 1, Jack Scott, University of Stirling in 2, somebody who's worked on the international scene for Great Britain and for Scotland. Cameron Curl of Millfield in 3, Callum Jarvis, Ellesmere in 4. Nick Granger of City of Sheffield in 5. Jay Elliott is back. He's not feeling 100%. He's had some stomach problems up in Glasgow, but he reckons he can get through a 200 all right. He's in 6. Caleb Hughes, 7. And Michael Gunning, London Aquatics in lane number 8.
Yeah, so the big boys in the centre lanes, and they don't come much bigger than Nick Granger, 6'7", but it is Callum Jarvis, in lane number 5 from Ellesmere College, that's just got his nose ahead. In lane number 4, member of the 4x200 team that won the World Championships last year, as was Nick Granger, and it's going to be those two that turn first, a lot quicker than the previous heats. By about half a second, 52.45 for Callum Jarvis. Also going well, Jack Scott, a member of the Great Britain team in 2011 and the Scottish team in 2014.
Good to see the big beast go well in lane 5. Had a few worries about Nick Granger this week. Now, can he bring it back? Still 50 to go, and we have joint leaders, Callum Jarvis and Nicholas Granger.
It's going to be
level with 50 to go.
Yeah, it's going to be really tight for this final. They all want to be in it, but they want to be saving themselves as well. Also going really, really well is Cameron Curl from Millfield. He's actually storming through. Jay Elliott also going well. This is going to be incredibly close, but it looks like Cameron Curl is having a fantastic swim.
Might be Nick Granger getting there first for the touch. He does. 1:48.62. Good. Really glad to see that because he's had a rough week, has Nick Granger.
The joint winner.
And with Cameron Curl finishing at 1:48.62. Absolutely on point. Both of them touching the wall at the same time. 1:48.62. Not quite as quick as Robbie, but nonetheless, they'll be happy with that. And Jay Elliott will be happy as well to get a 1:49 time in there. Good. This is looking good for our relay because they're moving things on and they will only improve come tonight. And still one more to go. And we have a world champion just about to enter the pool.
We have 2, actually.
Indeed we do. I'll give you the 1:08 after they get into the pool. Give it to you in a more sedentary way. Lewis Clough, City of Salford 1. Carl Chisholm, Borough of Kirklees 2. Duncan Scott, University of Stirling 3. James Guy, 200 freestyle champion from Kazan in lane 4. Dan Wallace, Warren de Bath 5. Ian Lloyd, City of Cardiff in 6. Tim Shuttleworth of Loughborough and Mark Zaranek of Edinburgh University in lane number 8. Now James Guy, what do you do this morning? How are you going to pace this?
Well, like he paces every race and just goes out for it. You know, he's turning first. Fastest so far of the heats at the 50-metre mark, 25.03. Also going very well. And we've been really mightily impressed by Duncan Scott. There's going to be some big boys that miss out on this final tonight that won't be able to put themselves in contention for the 4x200 or the individual 200 Cumbria, but looking really good is James Guy turning 51.51, closely followed by Duncan Scott 52.06. So these two swimmers, including Daniel Wallace in lane number 5, a lot quicker than the previous 2 heats. Also going well is Ian Lloyd, member of the 4x200 team in 2012. So a lot of experience within this race, but it's the world champion that's showing his class down this third 50, but being closely watched by Duncan Scott in lane number 3.
Well, it's a case of go hard or go home as far as 200 freestyle is concerned, because as you mentioned, some big names will miss out. We'll give you the 8 when they finish this heat. James Guy's fine. Duncan Scott is fine. There'll be a few standing on the sideline, a little bit worried that the time wasn't quite quick enough this morning. James Guy starting to conserve a little bit of energy for tonight where he can go flat out. Duncan Scott coming right alongside him. James Guy's done enough. Oh, it's a horrible glide. Horrible, horrible glide, James Guy, at the end. His coach will hate that. I'm sure he'll hate it as well. Just mistimed that and has actually been touched out by Duncan Scott by 5/100ths of a second. That was awful, James. Terrible, terrible, and he'll know that. 1:47.28. You won't want to watch that replay back.
He was just playing with them. He completely shut down. And that last 5 metres was incredibly slow. And he still went 1:47.33. So looking really good for tonight's final. See the finish here. This is, if anyone's watching a world champion, this is how not to finish. But this is how to shut out and shut down in a race, to reserve all that energy. Look at that. It's too easy. It's too easy.
Right, have we got a swim off here? Duncan Scott, James Guy, Robbie Rennick, Stephen Milne, Daniel Wallace. No, we haven't. 2 6s we've got with Granger. I'll tell you who's missing out. Callum Jarvis. Or have we got 2 8s? We've got 2 8s, I think. Have we not? Okay. I'm just going to give it a shot. I've seen him have 2 8s there, that's all. I think we've got a swim off there. In that 200 freestyle, which is not what you want. Not what you want. We will confirm we have 2 6s and I think we have 2 8s, but it flipped on the screen rather quickly. If it is 9th for Callum Jarvis, he will be kicking himself, but I think he might get another chance here. And we'll wait for the summary to turn around one more time. Certainly no doubt about the top 2. Duncan Scott and James Guy, the quickest in that heat. So whilst we wait for confirmation, I think we're okay. Yep. Duncan Scott, James Guy, Robbie Rennick, Stephen Milne, Dan Wallace, Nick Granger, Cameron Curl and Yain Lloyd. And that does mean that Callum Jarvis misses out on the final.
He does.
James Guy will be finishing on the wall that way this evening, do you?
Definitely not. He looked really comfortable this morning
did.
there, and that'll
Maybe
be a really
bit
good
too
heat
comfortable
to him.
in that last 5
Yeah,
metres.
he kind of knew he just had to get his hand on the wall, and he's done enough to make the final.
Yeah, well, we'll take another look there just at the replay. I mean, what do you think his coaches will be saying to him ahead of tonight? You know, how's he going to rest, recover, and put in that top performance tonight?
James is an amazing performer, and he'll do everything he can today to rest, and he knows he can come back and do the time tonight, and he'll just
took
get
it
out
easy
there.
there, didn't he, eh?
Yeah, he looks really comfortable, his stroke's really long, and there's nothing about that says he's out of breath, really.
Yeah, oof, look at that for a finish. Tell you what, how not to finish, but how he will need to finish this evening. We know that he's obviously going to be putting in a very, very strong performance tonight. Speaking of performances, members of your club, your development programme have performed well this week, haven't they?
Yeah, we just had Michael Gunning up in the 200 freestyle there who did a personal best.
I thought he was going to come and sit in the studio, actually. He was loving life
Yeah,
then.
he would if he could. He loves this kind of thing. So, yeah, he did really well there, and it's great to see that he's all the hard work he's done paid off as well.
Yeah, certainly has. Now, in terms of you, Amy, what's your plan going to be between now and the summer? What's your schedule?
Have a little bit of time off now, so a few days to kind of rest and just recover from sort of a busy week. And then I'm off to Dubai for 2 weeks on a training camp, and then all being well, the European Championships.
Yeah,
so that'll
because
be really.
Obviously the pool's going to be closed for yourselves to be able to train.
Yeah, obviously with
London
the Europeans
Aquatic
on,
Centre.
the Aquatic Centre will be closed, so we'll have to find somewhere else to train. So
You've been shipped out.
Why
but-
not Dubai?
I was going to say there's worse places to go, isn't there? So you're going to go to Dubai for 2 weeks to train,
Yeah.
then you're going to come back and compete.
Yeah, so the European Championships are obviously in London, so
Yeah.
that'll be an amazing competition to be part of. And there'll definitely be all these great names you've seen this morning up in action, so it'll be a really good
I
meet.
think about 40 swimmers that have competed this week will be there as well. And then after those championships, what's your plan going to be from there?
It'll really just be kind of getting my head down and training hard until Rio. There'll be a few competitions kind of in Europe, normally the Mare Nostrum series, and I think we're back in Scotland for another competition, so that'll be great. And then probably before we know it, it'll be Rio.
Yeah, how scary is that? Now, in terms of your mental preparation, because you've experienced London 2012, as we all know, but how are you going to move forward and mentally prepare yourself? Because, you know, there's a lot of pressure on everybody competing, not just yourself, but how are you going to deal with that?
I kind of try and enjoy everything rather than let the pressure get to me, and I think when I'm enjoying it and when I'm happy and enjoying my swimming, I normally swim the best. So I think towards Rio, if I can kind of get into that mental attitude of I'm going there to enjoy it and perform well, then hopefully everything should go right on the day.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. Are you excited?
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be an amazing, obviously, Rio's an amazing place, and I've had the opportunity to go there already, so it's going to be an amazing game.
Yeah, well, we wish you all the best of luck. Now, there was some talk earlier of a swim-off. I don't think that's going to be happening anymore, so we're just going to leave the live stream there today as it stands. So tonight, fantastic finals. Really quickly, so Amy, just give me a few sentences about each final we're going to see tonight, because it's the last session. So, of course, we have the women's 100-metre breaststroke expectations.
Siobhan will definitely be battling out for the win there, so she'll be hard to beat, but I reckon Chloe Tutton will give her a run for money.
Men's 200 backstroke.
Luke Greenbank looked amazing this morning, so he'll be the one to watch for the times.
Yeah, and then we're going to move on to the women's 100-metre butterfly. You're going to say the same name again, aren't you?
Siobhan's back in action again, obviously with Rachel Kelly, and Gemma Lowe looked really good this morning, so it'll be a battle between those three.
And then finally, the men's 200 free.
Well, all I'm saying is I'm going to be behind that stream, watching, shouting and cheering, because that is going to be one amazing race.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that's going to finish off the British Swimming Championships 2016. So it's the last of our sessions this evening. It's going to be fantastic. If Amy Wilmot is going to be watching, you need to be watching at home as well. So tune in from 6:20 tonight. It's 6:20 tonight for the final session. I can't believe it already. But of course, it's coming live from Tollcross International Swimming Centre. Huge thank you to Amy Wilmot for joining me in the studio this morning. This evening, I'm going to have the third-time British champion this week, Jazz Carlin, is going to be with me in the studio. So huge thanks to Bob and Ross for their great commentary tonight. And as I've said, huge thanks to Amy as well, and best of luck this summer. We'll see you all at 6:20 tonight. See you later.